Hello guys, my name is Arturo Gorilla and today we're going to be starting with verbs. We have a heavy agenda. There's a lot of sort of verbs there and I will explain all of them. So let's go ahead and start with the most simple way. What is a verb? So a verb is a part of a speech that indicates action being taken by the subject. So what that means is that I could be committing this verb, you, a reader, or even it could be doing it, meaning a machine or something. They can be doing the verb or the action. So that's basically what a verb is. It's just an action being taken by the subject. Subject described being any of us, anything. Anything could be a subject, and if it's doing something, it will have a verb. It could be a subject. So let's go ahead and follow this verb forms, and let's explain what is the simple verb tense. Verb tense tells the reader that the action is being taken. The action could be in the past, could be in the future, or also it can be in the present. Well, these are called kind of time frames, but let's go ahead and start with past. Yesterday, I ran. Or yesterday, I jumped. Let's use jumped. Just mostly because it's using the ed. And most of the past, you will have to look that the ed will indicate most of the time that's going to be past. Let's take a look at the next one, present. Today I jump. So, it's saying today. That's kind of present. It's arguably it could be the past, but let's go ahead and give you a better one. I am currently jumping. If you could, I feel like that's more present, but this is, like I said, simple verb tense, so it's not going to be very specific on what it's going to be doing. But the present, I feel like it's a little bit harder to explain. But on the present, just keep in mind that it has context clues, and like context clues like the next one. Let's look at the future. Tomorrow I will jump. So what is that telling you? That's telling you that is that telling you that you're doing an action? It's not really telling you that you're doing the action, but it's telling you that you will do the action. And on the verb, on the past tense verbs, I think on everything on a verb, make sure for that will, or look for context clues. That will, if you spot that will, that means the action hasn't been taken yet, but it is scheduled to be taken. So just keep in mind that will is usually a good one. Or going. Oh, good. Going. I use going a lot. Going is a good indicator that the verb has not been taken in action yet. But that's basically what it's doing. So let's go for the perfect verb tenses. So they present a perfect past, a perfect future, and a perfect present. On the past, take a notice the ed. Sorry, that was my little sister. Take a notice on the past verb. Take notice the ed. Like we just went over, the ed usually is a big indicator that's going to be in the past. Just you keep that in your head. Or have is a good one too. Has, that's a good one. Let's take a look at an example for that one. I have been doing my work. I have been doing my work today. This is a very confusing one. I probably shouldn't have used this one. So, I have worked as a caretaker since June. I have worked as a caretaker since June. Okay? So, I have, that's a good place, worked in a caretaker since June. This is arguably as well as a present because you are still doing this action. You're still a caretaker, still working, but you've been working since June. So this is arguably past and present. But let's go ahead and say it's past because it is a past. It is a past. It is a past indicating clause. Let's take a look at the future. You will have forgotten me after you move from London. Now this is very, very interesting. The future perfect tense describes an action that started in the past and is continuing through the present and will occur in the future. This is something. This is just confusing for me. But as I read through the textbook, I kind of got the hang of it, and I will explain it with my simple words. So what I understood was that the future perfect tense was, it's usually a sequence that it's like the past, it's happening in the present, and the action will be taken in the future. And this example actually just knocks out of the water. I love this one. You will have forgotten me after you have, sorry, excuse me. I don't know what's wrong with my tongue. You have forgotten me after you move to London. You will have forgotten me after you move to London. Let's take a look at this. You being the subject, so you will be taking action. You will have forgotten me after you move to London. God, this is awesome, but this is what it's doing. So you already knew me, but since you're moving to London, you are going to forget me because using context clues, you might be making other friends. I don't know, keeping busy with your life, but you're not actually committing to forgetting. You've actually have not forgotten me yet. You will in the future though. So that to me was the most difficult to explain, but I think I kind of covered it, or Ms. Jenkins can correct me if she will. So what is a progressive verb tense? A progressive verb tense describes a continuing or unfinished action such as I'm going, I was going, I will be going. So a progressive, it kind of says it in the verb. A progressive verb tense means that it's a verb that's going to be progressing through everything. It is an action that has not been taken yet. And let's look at an example. Janetta is getting her teeth cleaned right now. This sentence describes an activity that is occurring right now. Okay. Petty is starting school on Tuesday. So this sentence describes a planned activity or a progressive activity that's going to happen. I am studying ballet at school. This sentence describes an activity in a progress but not actually occurring in the time speaking. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the next one. Alrighty, guys. So perfect progressive verb tense. So this is basically an ongoing verb that it's going from the past all the way to right now, the present. And this is usually to the writer, so the writer can emphasize that it's been going for a while. I would say that it's mostly just describing that, but most of the times it's been used as like an annoying thing. So let's go ahead and continue with an example. She has been talking for an hour. So she's still doing it, but she has been doing it for an hour. This is basically present and past at the same time. It is a little bit confusing. Yes, it is. The passive voice, or the passive verb form, can be added to verbs in a different meaning and a different grammatically form that activates the voice. In a clause with the active verb, the subject is responsible for the action described as, let's look at the example. Faculty members often forget to lock their office doors when they go to the workroom to print something. So, who did the forgetting? Who did the verb? Who did the forgetting, which is the verb? Well, obviously the faculty members, they kept on forgetting to lock their office or lock the printing room. So, who are the subject? The faculty. So, what it's basically trying to say is that a passive form, it doesn't really have to be a direct link to the subject. It can also be kind of derivative of who committed the action. But that should be all for today, guys, and that is all the verbs. Thank you.